Hello, everyone, and welcome to December and the latest episode of Sweet 301. I'm Sandy Sanderson. To my right, Christian Smith. Christian, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And isn't it fitting? We're here in Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, December 1st, new month. Christmas season's upon us.
It is.
We wake up to 3 inches of snow on the ground. Looked like winter out there arrived all of a sudden. So
it looks good.
Yeah, so we welcome you to Sweet 301. This is our monthly podcast where we, webcast where we talk about all the updates across all our Cold Club sports leagues. You can watch all the broadcasts on our Sweet 301 page on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, and remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for the latest news and media, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos from around our leagues and watch previous episodes of Sweet 301.
All right. Well, we're gonna bring to the show Garrett Seamack, Director of Division II Baseball Operations, to recap a little bit. Since our last show, we have had a smidge of sporting events take place, some baseball games. So let's welcome Garrett to the show and give us a recap on what's been going on in baseball.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
What's up, Garrett?
Good, Garrett.
Hey, yeah. So we've had two series in D2 since the fall season wrapped up. Missouri S&T played 2 games against Kansas State. They won both of those games, and then they played a 3-game series the last weekend of fall play against Louisville and took one of the 3 games in that series.
Okay, so that wrapped up. The games that took place in the fall. What do we know? Like, just give us, those viewers maybe didn't catch previous episodes. How many of our teams did get to play some fall baseball?
I believe for D2 we had about 5 teams play the entire fall. It was Missouri S&T, Kansas State, North Dakota State, North Dakota, and Minnesota. They were the ones in D2. D1 was South Dakota State and Iowa State were the D2 teams.
Okay. And normally in a normal year we'd have a couple hundred teams playing ball. So we certainly want to showcase those teams that did get out to get on the field and compete, and to the envy of the rest of the league who wishes they got to be in their shoes. So.
And there's while it was pretty much all fall, we had games. It wasn't. It was a small amount of teams, but you can go back each week. I think we had a series or 2, but you can certainly go back on our website and the schedules page and check out the games and the recaps and things like that. So we tried, like you said, to highlight the teams as much as we possibly could to bring them some attention in the spotlight.
So that brings the sports activity of the 2020 season to a close. As little of it as there was, the football season was shut down due to teams not being allowed to participate. There's been no men's basketball, men's or women's basketball. A couple softball teams did get to compete. So normally in the course of a fall, we're talking about, we ourselves host, basketball invitational tournaments. Normally we'd be talking right now about this next week's football national championship game, but it's a different year. And so we're excited that we are able to. A couple of teams did get to play, but one of the big things that's taken place this past month is teams were competing a survey, we invite Savannah Aarons. I believe she's ready. She's going to be on this little discussion here. Savannah, are you there? There she is.
Hey guys.
Hey, good to see you. You sound crystal clear.
Yes.
Sounds great. So I was just telling our viewers, we completed this survey so that we could get a grasp of where people stand for spring sports. Does anybody know? Are they allowed to play? Have they been given the thumbs up? Have they been given the thumbs down? Are they in limbo? When is that decision might get made? We realize a lot of it's very fluid's the word. It seems the most common used word of this year.
Yep.
And this survey was designed to give us the input of where everybody stands, even their spring breaks. Have your spring breaks been canceled? Are you starting school later than usual? Are you finishing up later than usual? Are you online only? Oddly enough, we've learned that a lot of teams are studying this hybrid where they have the choice. They can come to class if they want, or they can do it online. But they're still on campus, or they're near their university. They're not away with mom and dad. Are those schools going to be allowed to even if they're not in the classroom, are they going to be allowed to go play sport? So that's what this survey was designed for, to gather that information, and specifically so we could set a timeline of activities on how a spring season would roll out. When you backpedal it, there's opening day, right? That's when we start. Whatever sport it might be, there's opening day. When is that going to be? All right. How much time do you need before opening day to get your schedule so that you can prepare to play opening day? That survey helped us gauge that information from our teams. We know internally how long it takes. Okay, so now we know opening day. We know when they need their schedule. And we know how long we need to create a schedule. That creates a date that we can give to our teams and say, this is when we need you to tell us we're in, we can play, we're out, see you in the fall. And I think that survey really helped us do that job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it was done correctly. It wasn't a long survey. I think we got good completion rate from our teams. It gave us obviously a ton of valuable information that we were able to actually put out today. I think we'll be discussing it a little bit later in the show. But yeah, it certainly gives teams the information that they need to know. As far as, hey, are we able to participate this year or not? Do we need a little more time? Those types of things. So
let's get right into that. Let's go to baseball. Let's bring Garrett back on. Garrett, let's talk about what we learned from the baseball surveys and how that's going to roll out with our deadlines and so forth. Let's start, I guess, right with Division One.
Yeah, so pretty much the main thing that helped us a lot at learning, like you said, spring breaks, who's going to be available, who's not, because that's the one thing that a lot of people think. All teams like the Great Lakes, used to playing in the fall, they'll get potentially 2 weeks extra if they don't have a spring break to play conference games now. Helps us down the But yeah, to go straight into it, the first, I guess, is Great Lakes, which our goal for them is to release their schedule by February 8th, which means on February 1st, we can schedule request and commitment by. With them, you'll see on the screen now, this is kind of the layout that we're looking at for Division One, based on everyone's surveys of how much time they need. Once we get the schedules out, that the Gulf Coast, South Atlantic, and SOPAC teams will be the first ones getting their schedules into us. We'll make their schedules. Then the next week we have Mid-America, North Atlantic, and Northern Pacific, and then followed up by Mid-Atlantic and Great Lakes. And then the schedules will be rolled out in order with those teams committing, and then we'll get baseball played in the spring.
And you'll notice there's something, the first teams that we need commitments from are, our southern schools, teams that usually start playing February 1st.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that need, in order to get them on the field sooner, they're going to, need to get that commitment into us. If I make that decision, get their schedule request forms in. So one of the things I encourage teams as you approach that, and we're going to remind teams when we get back from New Year's, like, hey, here's your date. We're going to need to know, are you in? Work on that schedule request form. It'll be important that when you say, when your date, when we come calling on, February or January 18th for the Gulf Coast, SOPAC, and the South Atlantic, when we call January 18th, we're in. Great. We need your schedule request form because we've got, that's 3 regions. That's a lot of teams. That's generally like 3 regions is, you're talking 55 teams worth of games that we've got to get scheduled in a week, plus Division 2, Division 3, softball, basketball. We got a lot of other stuff going on. So have your schedule request form ready when you make those decisions.
And I do want to say, if Joe, you could flash the overlay up again. A lot of teams, I actually just got a call from an advisor after sending these out. Teams might in the Gulf Coast, South Atlantic, SOPAC might say, well, hey, what if we don't know, what if our school hasn't given us a yes or no if we can play by January 18th, what do we do? And I think what we would recommend would be to say, hey, play it safe, correct me if I'm wrong, and say, hey, we can't commit right now, but once you do get that that news from the school on whether you can or cannot commit, if it is that you can commit and it's after that January 18th date, don't just think, oh, we're too late. I mean, certainly reach out to us, and we'll do whatever we can to get you guys into the league for the spring.
Yes, and it's something, we've dealt with it, not necessarily at the Division I level, but Division II, Division III. We always have late stragglers coming on board in a regular year, and it requires a unanimous vote of approval by the teams to add a team to the conference after the schedule's been released. We've changed that at the Rules Committee now. It's now a majority vote. It's no longer a unanimous vote. So, let's say there's 6 teams in the South Atlantic South. 5 of them are committed. 1 of them still doesn't know. We're gonna produce that 5-team schedule, and that 6th team, if they get a week later, they get the approval. You can go play. They can come to us, and we might be able to get them in and get them added in. So. But that's our target line for Division I. Garrett, let's roll right into Division II next.
Yeah, so we kind of mirrored off of what Division I was with the thought process of, hey, if some of these teams commit, for example, the Chesapeake is January 15th. Flash on the board right now. Pacific for the 18th, and the 25th for Chesapeake, New England, New Penn, Northern Plains, Rocky Mountain. And we kind of did that for the fact that if teams can't commit, do a similar region as Division I. So that way, if it's a spot at Division I, we can move a couple teams up or a couple teams down to kind of.
Apologize there. We got some rough audio with Garrett's connection. But yeah, I think what he was trying to get across there is, based on the data we got from the teams, how much advance notice between opening day and schedule release they need. We also tried to mirror what Division I is doing in that region, because there might be this might be one of those years where things get compressed from 3 leagues to 2 leagues. Teams in Division II need to play in Division I. Teams in Division III need to play in Division II, or possibly even vice versa, just to fill what we need to have a full and complete season together. So, Gary, if you're there, how's your audio now?
Is it better now?
Yes, much better. All right, well let's roll right into Division III.
So Division III, kind of with the same mindset. District 2 and 4 will all be released on January 25th, with District 3 being the lone one of their more southern teams who play sooner, so they need their schedules out a little sooner than the rest.
And I do believe on D1, D2, and D3, this has been emailed to all teams, so it should be in your inbox, the dates and all that stuff. So.
Right. And those, what you see on the screen there, those are the commitment dates. Those are the dates we need your schedule request form and your, hey, we're in or we're out, or we don't know yet. And, assuming, I assume most teams who don't know yet are going to opt to sit on the sidelines and see if they can get in late. And I would rather than risk, financially being responsible.
Yes. And I would also, the schedule request forms were sent out to the teams in that email. I wouldn't fill that out just yet unless you are 100% sure, hey, we're going to be able to compete this spring. I would wait on filling that out. Things do change. But you do have it. Keep it in your inbox for reference, that when you do know yes or no on the spring, that can be filled out and sent to us on those dates that we need them by.
And what we're going to be conducting here over the next 2 weeks are league-wide Zoom meetings to go over these, really get the teams an opportunity to sit with their league director, ask questions, ask follow-up questions, sort of, we can discuss in further detail how we came up with these specific dates for each region. And you'll notice, you notice different regions, different conferences have different dates. For one, we need to stagger them for our end because there's only, we got to produce all these schedules. But also, we've got, varying levels of when teams can start playing just based on weather. We've got varying reports of how much time they need between schedule release and opening day. So we bulked it by region. I think one region, I believe, was it Division II maybe, we were going to split because in the Pacific, The Southern Pacific side of that starts earlier. The Northern Pacific side of the Pacific region in Division
Oh,
II,
yeah. Yes.
is more
Yep.
a later start with weather. So, yep. So those are your Zoom meetings. You should have received links to those Zoom calls today. If not, it's probably in your inbox or coming shortly.
Yes, that should have been in your inbox, and certainly encourage everybody that is able to join us on those calls to do so. We will be going over in more detail the commitment dates, the schedule request form due dates, and things like that. So certainly, if you can be on those calls, please do. We do ask, since it is a league-wide call, that we try and only have one computer per team. So if you have 3 guys that want to be on, if you can all share a computer, that would be appreciated. But certainly don't want to discourage anybody from not joining us. So looking forward to those a lot.
Absolutely. Well, let's roll right into softball. Bring Savannah back. Savannah, well, let's go through the results of the softball survey and your dates that you're going with moving forward.
Right. So basically similar, premise. We obviously gathered the data and we determined based on those results from the surveys what the commit dates are going to be. So just so everybody's clear, the commit date is the date that you have to have your schedule request form turned in by, and submitting your schedule request form is your commitment. Is a symbol of your commitment. You also have to have your LPA in as well. For the handful of the schools that don't have their LPA in, that would be something that would be required as well to make your full commitment. And if we want to go ahead and throw the dates up there for softball.
Those are the Zoom call dates.
Which we're going to have those as well.
There's the commitment dates we're looking for.
The difference between softball and baseball is there's 3 divisions of baseball and only 1 division of softball. So the regions look a little bit different about with which team, geographically, which teams are where. So we do have some split situations, whereas, we were talking about in the, Southern California and the Florida teams, your date is Monday, January 18th, because you can play before everybody else. So that's the Pacific South and the South Atlantic South conferences. And then January 25th is a big date. It's the rest of the Pacific, the Central, the North, the rest of the South Atlantic, the East and the West, and then the entire regions of Great Lakes, Great American, Mid-America, and Mid-Atlantic. And then we've got our way tippy-top northern schools, New England and North Atlantic. And again, that's more of like a weather-based situation where they wouldn't be able to start as early. So your date is February 1st.
All right, good stuff. And then let's and you've broken, instead of doing a league-wide Zoom call, you're breaking yours up by region to have your discussions, since you only have one league to deal with in that sport.
Yeah, so we broke our Zoom commit date pretty much. So like, but the Pacific and the South Atlantic will go together. The rest on the 25th, and then New England, North Atlantic will be separate. That way we can kind of talk specifics about, what your commit date is and what what our projected date for your schedule release is, so that we can talk about that on an individual basis, more dynamic conversations for each teams to be able to have their specific situation in mind. I'm lucky, again, that we're able to do that with the softball side of things because we only have one league.
And can we get those Zoom meeting dates for softball posted up again? There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So the New England North Atlantic, the week from today, 6 p.m. Eastern. Please note that these are Eastern Standard Times. I know the last Zoom call we had, that wasn't taken into account by some of the teams. So make sure you convert this to your time zone. So these are all listed in Eastern Standard Times. Wednesday, the 9th will be Great Lakes, Mid-America, Mid-Atlantic, Great American, all those January 25th commit dates, and then Pacific South Atlantic will be the following Monday on December 14th. So we're really excited. All the regional directors will be in on these calls for the specific region. So like next Tuesday, we'll have Allie and Jules on with us to be able to talk specifically about what's going on in your region of the country and the outlook for that. So we're looking forward to having those calls with you guys and chat and see, how things are going and see how we can support you leading up to these commit dates.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Savannah. Now, Christian, you're running men's basketball. Why don't we dive right into what's going on with the men's basketball in terms of
Commit dates?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. We got two dates for the for the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, South Atlantic, and SOPAC. You'll see the commit date is January 11th. And then for the New England and North Atlantic, those dates are January 18th. Obviously, don't necessarily need to take into account weather with basketball. But these dates were more so based off of what the teams in that region requested as far as how much time they needed, for their schedules to come out before the opening day. All teams have been emailed this information along with a schedule request form, just like baseball and softball. I do apologize. I forgot to include a schedule request form on a few of yours, but I did send that out as well, so I apologize for all the emails. Same thing, same ideas as baseball and softball. We'll be looking for that schedule request form and your commitment on those dates that we just went over.
And how about your men's basketball Zoom meeting?
The men's basketball Zoom meeting will be on December 9th at 8:30 p.m. That's going to be a league-wide Zoom call, so really excited about getting on that call with the teams. Discussing these things. If you have questions, it's going to be something that I highly encourage all teams to participate because you can get your questions answered. We'll be right there and can answer them very easily and immediately for you. So certainly encourage you to join us on December 9th at 8:30 p.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So.
All right, good stuff. And as you see on the screen there, the women's basketball Zoom call will be on Thursday, December 10th at 8 p.m. as well. So let's dive on the women's side, the women's basketball side. Our dates for schedule request form and commitment for the spring season, the New England, Mid-America region, South Atlantic, and Pacific regions. That's going to be January 11th. January 18th, the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and North Atlantic regions. That's when their commitments will be due in. Again, like you said, we didn't have to take weather nearly into consideration as we do with the field sports, but with the teams telling us how much time, and they have varying reasons. Some of them say, we need more time to arrange our travel or to arrange our court access. Some of them, they have policies within their school that, hey, we have to give the school X amount of time before we're allowed to leave campus or host something too. So that's our plan right now moving forward. And while we're on the basketball topic, we do have a little bit of new team announcements to make. We've added 2 new teams, one the men's, one's the women's, since the last Sweet 301. So let's.
On the men's side, we got Alfred State just join us, which brings us up to 7 new teams for this year. But really excited to have them on up in New York.
Up in New York, all right. And on the women's side, WPI, Worcester Poly.
WPI.
$1.25, please. So they're the newest addition to the NCBAW for this season as well. Already growing into that, really packed New England region up there, which has got a ton of teams. So that's good. Great to have WPI coming on board with us this spring. Last thing to talk about, I believe, is football. So football, we did our survey, and we've already had our Zoom meeting for football. So what we've set is, if there's, with football, one of the things that's a little unique is because it's so, the number of teams in the football league. Women's basketball's got over 50. Men's basketball's got over 100. We've got 300 baseball, 140 softball. There's only 25 football teams. So we teeter on that edge if we might not have enough to even have a spring season. The teams have asked us to try to explore it with their fall season being completely wiped out. Can we do something in the spring just so that we're on the field competing? So we're going to make an attempt at a run at it if we have enough teams. So the date for them, our idea there is Monday, January 25th. That's when the NCFA teams need to give us, hey, the thumbs up, we're in. We want to play. Here's our schedule request form. The goal being that by February 1st, we would have the conference schedules released, and March 1st would be the start of play for the NCFA, first ever NCFA spring season.
Hey.
So that's the plan moving forward in football. Really good turnout on that Zoom meeting. Those guys talking about, what they want to do. I mean, they're passionate about their sport, and they don't want to go 12 months without playing.
Yeah.
So completely understand that. So we're doing everything we can. Hopefully they get good news from their administration that they are allowed to compete this spring. Where do we want to go from here?
I mean, just a note for I think all leagues. As you've probably seen on our social media accounts or website, we're doing spotlights of teams, member teams, calling it the featured team of the week. I'm sure most teams have been emailed, or a lot of teams have been emailed to submit if they're willing to do so. We'd love to highlight your team and just spread some positive news and cheer, especially during this holiday season, spotlighting your team. So send us some pictures and some information, and we'll be sure to get your team spotlighted on social media and our website.
Yep. On the NCFA side, we just announced Oakland, the new NCFA team of the week, and probably shortly before I leave for the office today, I'll be launching out the new NCBA women's team of the week, spotlight team of the week. So look for that coming soon on social media and on our website. Good stuff.
Another thing is marketing. A lot of the deadlines for, Rawlings and the game headwear have been moved. You can see that up on your screen now. Should you have any questions about the game, certainly reach out to Felicia. Her contact information is there. And as far as Rawlings goes, baseball, softballs, uniforms, equipment, certainly reach out to Justin Rickert. His information is listed there. But the extension for Rawlings and the game has been moved to December 15th. So you got 2 more weeks if you're looking to get discounts on headwear, higher discounts on headwear and Rawlings uniforms.
For those of you that aren't aware, Rawlings in the game, they generally have a early order period where they offer even bigger discount. All our teams get discounts off their stuff. They offer a bigger discount if you order by normally November 15th. They're just trying to drive more business to their slow period and sort of spread out their activities through there. We went to those vendors and said, hey, look, a lot of our teams don't even know yet if they can play. Is there anything we can do to extend that? And they graciously were able to pump out an extra month, extend that early discount, extra bonus discount deadline another month to give teams a little more time to decide if they want to place an order this year. Of course, you can always get great discounts through those vendors through us at any time of the year. But if you want the deep discount, you want the extra, I think it's an extra 10% each way, right? Or
somewhere around there.
Yeah. Definitely get your order placed by 12:15. Well,
I think that's it.
I think that's it too. Hey, I think our next, that's it for our show. Thanks for tuning in to Sweet 301. Right now, we're gonna jump right over January because we're not gonna have a whole lot to talk about. But February 16th is our next show, 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope to have lots of exciting information to you. Probably schedules out. Maybe some of you will be vaccinated by then. Who knows? But we expect lots to talk about in February. So,
yes. So to reiterate, the next episode will be Tuesday, February 16th at 3:01 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. Make sure to join us and catch up on everything happening around Colt Club Sports.
Have a merry and safe holiday, Christmas, New Year's, everything, folks. We miss you. Can't wait to see you in 2021. Can't wait to put 2020 in our rearview mirror. Remember, it's a game.
Have fun.